Maya Brooks' hands trembled as she poured the coffee. Not because of the ceramic cup. Not because of the early morning rush. But because of the birthmark she'd just seen on the neck of the young man standing in the doorway. A crescent moon shape, identical to her own. The same birthmark her big brother had worn 15 years ago, the night the world swallowed him whole. The pot slipped. Hot coffee splashed across the counter. Maya didn't notice. Maya? Mr. Bennet's weathered voice cut through the fog in her mind. Are you all right, dear? She couldn't answer. Couldn't breathe. The stranger in the $1,000 suit hadn't moved, his eyes locked on her like he'd seen a ghost. No, like she was the ghost. And standing beside him, looking between them with an expression Maya couldn't read, was another man. Younger than Mr. Bennet, older than the stranger. Devastatingly handsome in that careless, wealthy way that usually made Maya's guard snap into place. But right now, she couldn't think about him. Right now, her entire body was screaming one impossible word. Liam? Hey, beautiful souls. Before we dive deeper into this moment that's about to shatter Maya's world completely, I want to say hello. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments. I love knowing this community is global. How are you doing? Really, I hope you're taking care of yourself. And listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. This story is going to take you on a journey you won't believe, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Trust me on this one. Now, back to Maya, because what happens in the next 60 seconds will change everything. The stranger's lips moved. Maya? Her name. He said her name. But his voice was different, deeper, aged by time and distance. Not the teenage boy who used to walk her to school every morning, who'd promised he'd always protect his little sister. I'm sorry, Maya whispered, grabbing a towel to mop up the coffee. Her survival instincts kicked in, the ones that had kept her alive since she was 10 years old. Don't hope. Don't believe. Don't break. Do I know you? Mr. Bennet stood slowly, his usual gentle smile replaced by something else. Something that looked like knowing. Maya, he said carefully, this is my son Ethan Bennet. And his associate, Liam Carter. Carter, not Brooks. Her heart cracked. Of course he wasn't her brother. Her brother was gone. Dead, probably. Like everyone else she'd ever loved. The universe didn't hand out miracles to broke waitresses in Chicago diners. But Liam Carter hadn't looked away. Not once. How old are you? The question burst from him, desperate and raw. Maya's boss, Frank, appeared from the Kit Riley, his expression annoyed. Everything okay out here? Maya, you're making a mess. 25. Maya didn't know why she answered. Didn't know why this stranger's urgency made her own pulse race. I'll be 25 next month. Liam Carter swayed. Actually swayed, like the ground had shifted beneath his Italian leather shoes. Ethan Bennet, Mr. Bennet's son apparently, though the old man had never mentioned having children, moved closer to his friend. Liam? What's going on? But Liam was already reaching into his jacket, pulling out his phone with shaking fingers. He tapped the screen, turned it toward Maya. Is this you? The photo was old. Faded. A teenage boy, maybe 12 or 13, kneeling down with his arms around a little girl with beaded braids. Both of them grinning at the camera. The girl was missing her 2 front teeth. Maya's knees buckled. She knew that photo. It had burned in the fire with everything else. With her parents' bodies. With every shred of proof that she'd ever had a family, ever been loved, ever been anything other than alone. Where did you get that? Her voice came out strangled. From my baby sister. Liam's eyes were wet. The sister I've been looking for since I was 13 years old. The sister who disappeared the night of the fire. The sister named Maya Brooks who had a birthmark shaped like a crescent moon on the left side of her neck. The diner went silent. Every customer, every server, even Frank, everyone stopped. Maya's hand flew to her neck. To the birthmark she usually covered with makeup. The one she'd left bare today because she'd been running late, because it hadn't seemed to matter, because she'd given up on matching a long time ago. No, she breathed. You died. They told me everyone died. I was at basketball practice. Liam's voice broke. Stayed late for extra training. And when I came home, the house was gone. You were gone. They said there were no survivors. I've been searching ever since. I built my entire company on facial recognition technology just so I could." He stopped. Stepped forward. "Show me your neck." Maya couldn't move. This was insane. Impossible. She'd mourned him. 15 years of grief, of abandonment, of wondering why her big brother hadn't been there to save her. "You were at basketball practice?" Maya's world tilted. "But I was told I was the only one not home. That you were inside with Mom and Dad." Liam froze. "They told me you were inside." Ethan Bennett spoke for the first time, his voice commanding despite its gentleness. "Who told you? Both of you. Who gave you that information?" Mr. Bennett sank back into his chair, his face grave. "Oh dear God." And Maya understood, with sudden, horrifying clarity, why she'd spent 15 years in foster care under a different last name. Why her records had been sealed. Why every attempt to find information about her family had hit a wall. Someone had wanted them to stay separated. Someone had lied. "What's happening?" she whispered. Liam's hand reached for hers across the counter. "I don't know. But I'm not losing you again." His fingers were warm. His eyes, God, they were her father's eyes. How had she not seen it immediately? "Because you stopped looking," a voice whispered in her mind. "Because hoping hurt too much." "Liam," Ethan said quietly, urgency threading through his tone. "We need to move." If someone separated them deliberately, and you just used facial recognition to find her. "They know I found her." Liam's face went pale. "Jesus Christ, they know." Maya's confusion spiked into fear. "Who knows? What are you talking about?" Mr. Bennett stood again, suddenly looking far less like a frail old man and far more like someone used to giving orders. "Ethan, get your car. Liam, call your security team. Maya." He looked at her with something like affection. Like he'd known all along that this moment was coming. "Trust us," he said simply. "Please." And as if choreographed by fate itself, 3 black SUVs pulled up outside the diner. What secret could be dangerous enough to tear siblings apart for 15 years? And why does Mr. Bennett look like he's been waiting for this moment all along? Maya's first instinct was to run. 15 years of survival had taught her that when things seemed too good to be true, they usually were. When strangers offered help, they wanted something. When the universe dangled hope in front of her face, it was usually attached to a hook. But Mr. Bennett's hand was on her arm, gentle, steady, the same hand that had left her $200 tips every morning for the past 2 years. The same hand that had trembled when she'd helped him with his coat during last winter's ice storm. The same hand that had held hers when she'd cried on his birthday, alone in the diner after her shift, mourning a family she thought she'd never see again. "I'm not going anywhere with people I don't know," she said, lifting her chin. "I don't care how many expensive cars you have." Liam's face crumpled. "Maya, please. Don't." Her voice cracked despite her best efforts. "Don't call me that like you know me. I don't know you. You could be anyone. This could be a scam. The trick. A dream she'd wake up from screaming. Anything." Frank stepped between them, his protective instincts finally kicking in. He'd given Maya this job when she'd aged out of foster care with nothing but determination. The lady said no. "So unless you're ordering breakfast, I suggest you." "Frank." Maya touched his shoulder. "It's okay." It wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. But those SUVs outside weren't there for a friendly reunion, and even she could sense the danger crackling in the air like static before a storm. Ethan Bennett moved then, stepping around his father with fluid grace. Up close, he was even more devastating. Dark hair, sharp jawline, eyes the color of aged whiskey. But it was the intelligence in his gaze that made Maya's breath catch. He was assessing her, reading her, seeing past every wall she'd built. "Miss Brooks," he said, his voice low and surprisingly warm. "I understand your hesitation. You have no reason to trust any of us. But my father," he gestured to Mr. Bennett, "has spoken about you every single day for 2 years. He's told me how you remember his coffee order without asking. How you slip extra bacon onto his plate when you think he's losing weight. How you spent your day off driving him to a doctor's appointment when his regular driver was sick. Maya's cheeks heated. She hadn't known Mr. Bennet had told anyone about that. Ethan continued, his eyes never leaving hers. He told me you were special, that you had a good heart despite whatever hardships you'd faced. And he made me promise that if you ever needed help, any kind of help, I would move heaven and earth to provide it. You're exaggerating, Mr. Bennet said mildly, but his eyes twinkled. I'm really not. Ethan's expression softened. What I'm trying to say is, you know my father. You trust him, don't you? Maya looked at the old man who'd become the closest thing to family she'd had in 15 years. The man who'd listened to her dreams of going back to school. Who'd encouraged her to paint again after she'd mentioned once, just once, that she used to love art. Who'd brought her a winter coat last December, claiming his wife had ordered the wrong size before he'd remembered that his wife had been dead for 20 years. He'd been taking care of her all along. Why didn't you tell me? She whispered. No, but... Exactly. He squeezed her hand. You saw me. Just me. Not my bank account or my connections. You have no idea how rare that is. How precious. A car door slammed outside. Maya flinched. Liam was on his phone, speaking in rapid, clipped tones. Don't care what meeting he's in, get him out. Tell him code black. Yes, I'm sure. Just do it. He hung up and turned to Maya, desperation etched into every line of his face. I know you don't remember me clearly. You were 10 when I last saw you, and I was 13. But I remember you, Maya. I remember walking you to school every morning. I remember helping you with your homework at the Kit Riley table. I remember promising Mom I'd always look after you. His voice broke on the last word. And then you were just gone. They told me you died in the fire. That they'd identified your remains. I was put into foster care under Mom's maiden name, Carter instead of Brooks, supposedly for my protection. But no one would tell me from what. And when I finally made enough money to hire investigators, every trail went cold. Until 3 months ago. Maya's heart hammered. 3 months. I upgraded my company's facial recognition software. Started running it against every database I could access, legal and otherwise. DMV records, social media, security cameras. And 2 weeks ago, I got a hit. A waitress in Chicago with a 94% facial match to the age progression models of my baby sister. He pulled out his phone again, showed her a screen filled with photos. Maya recognized herself, walking to work, laughing with Frank, serving customers. And beside each photo, a percentage, 92%, 94%, 96%. I had to be sure, Liam said. I've had false positives before. 3 of them. Each time I thought I'd found you, and each time... He swallowed hard. I couldn't survive another disappointment. So I spent 2 weeks verifying, building a case, making absolutely certain before I contacted you. And then you told him? Maya gestured at Ethan. Liam is my best friend, Ethan said quietly. Has been since Harvard. He's been looking for you longer than I've known him. When he showed me your photo yesterday, I almost... He stopped, something flickering across his expression. Something that made Maya's skin prickle with awareness. You almost what? She heard herself ask. Recognized you. Ethan's gaze held hers. My father showed me a photo of his favorite waitress 6 months ago. Asked if I thought she seemed lonely. If I thought she might appreciate some company. Maya turned to Mr. Bennet, shocked. You were trying to set us up? The old man had the grace to look sheepish. Can you blame me? You're both beautiful, intelligent, and far too isolated for your own good. Dad. Ethan's tone carried a warning, but his lips twitched. I'm 78 years old, Mr. Bennet said imperiously. I've earned the right to meddle. Despite everything, the fear, the confusion, the impossible situation, Maya felt a laugh bubble up. It died quickly when another SUV pulled up outside, this one white. Liam cursed. That's not mine. Ethan was already moving, his hand reaching for Maya. Back exit. Now. Wait, Maya pulled back. You're scaring me. What is happening? Why would someone want to keep me and Liam apart? The question hung in the air like smoke. Mr. Bennet and Liam exchanged glances. Some silent communication passed between them, something weighted with secrets Maya didn't understand. Your parents, Mr. Bennet said carefully, worked for a very powerful corporation. Bennett Industries, actually. They were research scientists in our biotechnology division. The world tilted. Your father made a discovery, Ethan added, his voice grim. Something revolutionary. Something worth billions. And 3 weeks after he filed the patent. The house burned down, Maya finished, her blood running cold. You're saying they were murdered? That someone killed my parents for their research? We don't know for certain, Liam said quickly. But I've been digging into the fire investigation reports, and Maya, there are inconsistencies. Things that don't add up. Questions that were never asked. And if someone did kill them, Ethan said softly, separating the children, making sure you could never compare notes or ask the right questions together, would be the smart play, Maya whispered. The white SUV's doors opened. 3 men in suits stepped out. They didn't look friendly. Who were Maya's parents really, and what discovery was worth destroying an entire family? And can she trust these men, one she barely knows, and one she's just met, with her life? Frank grabbed Maya's shoulders. Go. I'll stall them. Frank, no. Girl, you've been on your own long enough. His eyes were fierce. Let someone protect you for once. Let yourself have a family again. The word family hit Maya like a physical blow. She looked at Liam, really looked at him. Saw the desperation, yes, but also the guilt. The weight of being the older brother who'd failed to protect his little sister. The hope he was trying not to show because hope was dangerous when you'd lost everything. She knew that feeling intimately. And Ethan, God, why couldn't she stop looking at Ethan? He was watching her like she was a puzzle he needed to solve, but also like she was something precious. Worth protecting. She couldn't think like that. Couldn't afford to want things that weren't meant for people like her. But Mr. Bennet's hand was still on her arm, steady and sure. And maybe, just maybe, she'd been alone long enough. Okay, Maya breathed. But I swear to God, if this is some elaborate human trafficking scheme. It's not, all 3 men said simultaneously. Despite everything, Maya almost smiled. Then let's go. Ethan's hand found hers, strong, warm, calloused in a way that surprised her for a billionaire. Stay close to me. And as they rushed toward the back exit, Maya's mind raced with impossible questions. Questions about her parents. About the fire. About why Liam had been told she was dead and she'd been told he was dead. About why Mr. Bennet had sought her out 2 years ago. About why Ethan Bennet looked at her like she was already someone he couldn't afford to lose. But underneath all the questions was one truth she couldn't deny. For the first time in 15 years, she wasn't running alone. And for the first time since she was 10 years old, her big brother was here to protect her. If you're loving this story so far, drop a comment and let me know what you think is really going on. Were Maya's parents murdered? And what do you think about Ethan already? Your theories fuel my creativity, so don't be shy. The back exit led to an alley that smelled like grease and rotting vegetables. Maya had taken out trash here 1,000 times, had eaten her lunch on the rusted fire escape, had cried against these brick walls when the loneliness became too much. Now she was running through it like her life depended on it. Because apparently it did. Ethan's hand was an anchor around hers, pulling her forward. Liam ran ahead, phone pressed to his ear, barking orders in a voice that brooked no argument. Mr. Bennet moved surprisingly fast for a man his age, keeping pace with a determination that suggested he'd done this before. There. Ethan pointed to a black Mercedes idling at the alley's end. The driver's door opened, and a woman in tactical gear stepped out. Mr. Bennet, she said crisply, we have a situation. I'm aware, Riley. Ethan pulled Maya toward the car. How many? 6 that we've counted. 3 at the front, 3 circling to cut off rear access. Riley's eyes flickered to Maya, assessing. Is this her? Yes. Liam reached them, slightly breathless. We need to get her to the safe house. Now. Maya dug her heels in. Wait, just, everyone stop. To her surprise, they did. For pairs of eyes locked on her. Waiting. And that was almost more terrifying than the running. The fact that these powerful people, these strangers, were treating her like she mattered. Like her words carried weight. I need answers, Maya said, fighting to keep her voice steady. Real ones. Before I get in any car, before I go anywhere, I need to know what the hell is happening. You said my parents worked for Bennett Industries? Mr. Bennett nodded gravely. Dr. Brent Brooks and Dr. Teresa Brooks. They were our lead researchers in regenerative biotechnology. Brilliant minds. Your father was close to a breakthrough that would have revolutionized medicine. Tissue regeneration without the ethical complications of stem cells. Worth billions. But more than that, worth saving countless lives. Maya's chest tightened. She'd known her parents were scientists, but the details had always been vague. Foster care records had told her nothing. She'd been too young to remember their work. 3 weeks before the fire, Liam said, his jaw tight, Dad filed a provisional patent. And someone inside the company leaked it to a competitor. We think. You think that competitor killed them to steal the research, Maya finished, the pieces clicking together with horrible clarity. And then what? Separated us so we couldn't inherit, Ethan said quietly. The patent was filed in your parents' names. Which means ownership would pass to their legal heirs. Both of you. The world spun. How much are we talking about? Maya whispered. The current valuation? Mr. Bennett's expression was somber. Approximately $2.3 billion. And that's conservative. Maya's knees went weak. Ethan's arms slid around her waist, steadying her. The casual intimacy of it should have felt wrong. They just met. But his touch felt. I don't want it, she said immediately. The money, the patent, whatever. I don't want any of it. Maya, Liam started. No. She looked at her brother, God, her brother, standing in front of her after 15 years of grief. Money got our parents killed. Money is why we lost each other. I've survived just fine without it. Have you? Ethan's voice was gentle, but his eyes saw too much. Fine is working double shifts at a diner, living in a studio apartment you can barely afford, going to bed hungry some nights so you can save enough for art supplies you never use because you're too exhausted? Maya jerked back. How do you? My father told me. Ethan's hand was still on her waist, burning through the thin fabric of her uniform. And I'm not judging you, Maya. I'm saying you deserve better. You've deserved better for 15 years. We both have, Liam added, his voice rough with emotion. And I know you're scared. I know trusting people hasn't exactly worked out for you. But Maya, his eyes pleaded. I'm your brother. I spent 15 years looking for you. Let me make up for the time we lost. Let me protect you now. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. How many nights had she dreamed of hearing them? How many times had she imagined her family coming back for her? But dreams were dangerous. Dreams got you hurt. Protected from what, exactly? She asked. You still haven't told me who's after me. The look that passed between Ethan, Liam, and Mr. Bennett made her stomach drop. We don't know, Mr. Bennett admitted. The competitor who stole the research buried their tracks well. We've suspected several parties over the years, but never had proof. Liam's been investigating quietly, using his tech resources to, which is probably what triggered this, Riley interrupted, her eyes on her phone. Sir, we need to move. 3 more vehicles just entered the area. Maya's pulse spiked. This is insane. I'm nobody. I'm just a waitress. I can't be worth. You're worth everything, Ethan said, and the intensity in his voice stopped her cold. You're worth $2.3 billion in intellectual property. You're worth whatever price someone paid to keep you and Liam separated for 15 years. And to me. He stopped, jaw clenching like he'd said too much. To you what? Maya heard herself ask. Ethan's eyes met hers, and the heat in them made her breath catch. You're the woman my father hasn't shut up about for 2 years. The woman who treated a stranger with kindness when she had every reason to be bitter. The woman who works herself to the bone but still smiles at customers having a bad day. I've been half in love with your photo for 6 months, And now that you're standing in front of me, Ethan, Mr. Bennet said warningly. Perhaps now isn't. Now is exactly the time, Ethan countered, never breaking eye contact with Maya. Because she needs to know that even if there wasn't a patent, even if there wasn't danger, even if she was just Maya the waitress with no family and no fortune, I'd still be standing here. I'd still be asking her to trust me. Maya couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Men like Ethan Bennet didn't look at women like her. Didn't say things like that with such raw honesty. You don't even know me, she whispered. Then let me. His thumb traced a circle on her hip, and she shivered. Let me keep you safe. Let me learn everything about you. And when this is over, when you're not running anymore, let me take you to dinner. A real one. Where you're not serving the food. Despite the terror, despite the insanity, Maya felt a laugh escape. You're asking me on a date while people are trying to kill me? Technically, I'm asking if I can ask you on a date after we stop people from trying to kill you. Ethan's lips quirked. I'm a billionaire. We're known for our timing. We really need to go, Riley said urgently. Like 30 seconds ago. Liam stepped closer, his hand outstretched. Maya, please, trust me. Trust us. Just for today. Just long enough to get you somewhere safe. And if you hate it, if you want to walk away from all of this, the money, the investigation, all of it, I'll drive you back to the diner myself. I promise. Maya looked at her brother's hand. Looked at Ethan's face. Looked at Mr. Bennet's encouraging smile. Looked at the mouth of the alley, where 3 men in suits were appearing. One of them pulled out a gun. Get down. Riley shoved Mr. Bennet behind the Mercedes as the first shot rang out. Maya didn't remember moving. Didn't remember deciding. But suddenly Ethan was pulling her into the car, his body covering hers, and Liam was diving in after them, and Riley was in the driver's seat with the engine roaring. Tires squealed. More gunshots. The rear window spiderwebbed. Maya's scream caught in her throat as Ethan pressed her down into the leather seat, his weight sheltering her, his heart hammering against her back. Stay down, he breathed into her ear. I've got you. I promise I've got you. The car flew around a corner. Maya heard Riley on the radio, calling for backup, using codes she didn't understand. Is anyone hit? Liam demanded. No, Riley reported. But they're following. 2 vehicles. Mr. Bennet twisted in the front passenger seat, his face pale but determined. Lose them, Riley. Working on it, sir. The Mercedes weaved through traffic with terrifying precision. Horns blared. Maya caught glimpses of shocked faces as they blew through a red light. This is real, she whispered against Ethan's chest. This is actually happening. Yeah. His arms tightened around her. And I'm sorry. God, Maya, I'm so sorry you're in this. Someone just shot at us. The reality was hitting her in waves. Someone actually tried to. Hey, look at me. Ethan tilted her face up, his eyes fierce. They didn't. They won't. I will burn down half of Chicago before I let anyone hurt you. Do you understand? Maya should have been scared of the darkness in his voice. Instead, she felt something else entirely. For the first time in 15 years, despite the bullets and the chase and the impossible danger, she felt safe. We lost them, Riley announced. Taking secondary route to the safe house. Liam exhaled shakily. Everyone okay? Define okay, Maya muttered, and to her shock, everyone laughed. The tension broke slightly. Ethan helped her sit up, though he kept one arm around her shoulders. Mr. Bennet turned to face her fully. Maya, he said gently, I know this is overwhelming, but you need to understand, whoever is behind this just showed their hand. They shot at you in broad daylight in a public alley. That's desperate. Sloppy. Which means they're scared, Liam added, his expression hardening. They're scared because after 15 years of thinking they got away with it, I found you. We found each other. And together, Ethan said, his hand finding Maya's, you're a threat. You can inherit the patent. You can reopen the investigation into your parents' deaths. You can expose whoever's been hiding behind this. Maya's mind reeled. An hour ago, her biggest worry had been whether Frank would approve her vacation request. Now she was apparently worth billions, running from assassins, and holding hands with a man who looked at her like she hung the moon. "What do I do?" she asked, hating how small her voice sounded. "You let us protect you," Mr. Bennet said firmly. "You stay at the safe house until we identify the threat. And you," his eyes twinkled despite the gravity of the situation, "you let my son spoil you a little. God knows you've earned it." "Dad," Ethan groaned, but his thumb was tracing patterns on Maya's palm. "I'm just saying the safe house has an excellent kit, Riley, a library, an art studio." "An art studio?" Maya's head whipped up. Mr. Bennet's smile was knowing. "I may have had one installed. Recently. Just in case." "You manipulative old man," she breathed, but there was no heat in it. "I prefer strategically optimistic," he replied primly. The car pulled into an underground garage. Riley parked, killed the engine, and turned to face them. "We're clear. Security team is already in place. The penthouse is locked down." "Penthouse?" Maya looked at Ethan. "Safe house might be underselling it," he admitted. "It's more like a very secure luxury apartment. With an art studio." With an art studio. Despite everything, the fear, the shock, the world-altering revelations, Maya felt something unfamiliar blooming in her chest. She looked at Liam, really seeing him now. Her brother. Alive. Searching for her all these years. She looked at Mr. Bennet, who'd known exactly who she was and had chosen to sit in her section every day anyway, quietly watching over her. She looked at Ethan, whose hand still held hers like he had no intention of letting go. "Okay," she said. "I'll stay. For now." The relief on their faces was palpable. "But," she added firmly, "I want answers. All of them. Everything you know about my parents, the fire, the patent, everything." "Deal," Liam said immediately. "And I want to know who we're dealing with. Who's powerful enough to murder 2 people, fake death records, and keep us separated for 15 years. "We'll find out," Ethan promised. "Together." Riley opened the car doors. They filed out into the garage's fluorescent lighting. And that's when Maya saw it. On the concrete wall, spray painted in red. "We know where she is. Give her back or Bennett Industries burns." Below it, a symbol, a snake eating its own tail. Liam went rigid. "No. No, it can't be." "What?" Maya grabbed his arm. "What is that?" Mr. Bennett's face had gone ashen. "Ouroboros. The pharmaceutical company?" Ethan's voice was deadly quiet. "The one that merged with Riley Tech 3 years ago to become the largest biotech firm in the world?" "They're our biggest competitor," Mr. Bennet confirmed. "And if they're behind this, then we're not just dealing with hired thugs," Liam finished. "We're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation with unlimited resources and no conscience." Maya stared at the symbol, ice flooding her veins. What kind of enemy had her parents made? And how do you fight a corporation powerful enough to make entire families disappear? Riley was already on her phone, photographing the graffiti, calling for additional security. But Maya couldn't stop staring at those words, "Give her back." Like she was property. Like she was something to be owned. Ethan's arms slid around her shoulders. "Hey, whatever this is, we face it together. You're not alone anymore." And as they rode the elevator up to the penthouse, surrounded by security and impossible danger, Maya realized something profound. For 15 years, she'd survived by trusting no one. Now her life depended on trusting everyone. God help her. The penthouse was obscene. That was Maya's first thought as she stepped off the private elevator. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Marble floors that probably cost more than she'd made in her entire life. Art on the walls that looked suspiciously like original Rothkos. And yes, an art studio. Glass-walled, flooded with natural light, stocked with supplies that made her hands itch to create. "This is too much," she whispered. "This is necessary," Ethan countered, shrugging out of his jacket. His shirt pulled tight across his shoulders, and Maya forced herself to look away. The building has 24-hour security, facial recognition software at every entrance, and a panic room that could survive a nuclear blast. "Comforting," Maya muttered. Liam was already at the windows, phone pressed to his ear. I want everything you have on Ouroboros. Leadership, financial records, employee databases, I don't care if it's legal. Do it. He paused. No, not tomorrow. Now. The command in his voice was startling. This wasn't the boy Maya remembered, shy, bookish, more comfortable with computers than people. This was a man who'd built an empire. A man who'd turned grief into purpose. Her brother. The thought still felt surreal. Mr. Bennet settled into a leather chair with a sigh. Riley, post security at all access points. And someone get me a bourbon. It's been a very long morning. It's 10 a.m., Ethan pointed out. Did I stutter? Despite everything, Maya felt a smile tug at her lips. She was standing in a billionaire's penthouse, running from corporate assassins, and somehow the normalcy of family bickering made it all feel slightly less insane. You should eat something, Ethan said, appearing at her elbow. When's the last time you had a real meal? Maya tried to remember. Yesterday's lunch? The day before? I'm fine. That's not what I asked. His hand touched the small of her back, gentle but insistent, guiding her toward the Kit Riley. The casual intimacy should have felt presumptuous. Instead, it felt like he'd been touching her for years. Ethan. Humor me. He opened the massive refrigerator, revealing enough food to feed an army. What do you like? I can make pretty much anything. You cook? My mother died when I was 12. His voice was matter-of-fact, but Maya heard the old pain underneath. Dad worked constantly. I learned or I starved. He pulled out eggs, cheese, vegetables. So, omelette? Scrambled? Or I make a mean French toast? Maya leaned against the counter, watching him move through the Kit Riley with easy competence. Your father said you've been half in love with my photo for 6 months. Ethan's hand stilled. He has a big mouth. Is it true? He turned to face her, and the vulnerability in his expressions stole her breath. Would it scare you if it was? Maybe. Maya's heart hammered. I don't know. This whole day is terrifying. Men with guns are terrifying. Finding out I'm worth billions is terrifying. But you? Am I terrifying? No. The admission felt dangerous. That's what scares me. Ethan moved closer, until only inches separated them. Maya, I know this is fast. I know you have every reason not to trust this, not to trust me. But I need you to understand something. His hand lifted, hovering near her face, waiting for permission. Maya found herself leaning into it. His palm cupped her cheek, warm and solid. I don't care about the patent, he said quietly. I don't care about the money or the investigation or any of it. I care that you've been alone for 15 years when you should have been surrounded by people who loved you. I care that you work yourself to exhaustion for minimum wage when you're brilliant enough to do anything. I care that you look at my father like he's family because you haven't had anyone else. His thumb traced her cheekbone, and Maya's eyes fluttered closed. And I care, Ethan continued, his voice dropping, that when you smile, really smile, not the customer service version, you have a dimple on your left cheek. That you bite your lip when you're thinking. That you haven't let the world make you bitter even though it gave you every reason to be. Maya opened her eyes. How do you know all that? Because I've been watching you in my father's photos for months. Because I drove by the diner twice before today, trying to work up the courage to come in. Because Liam showed me surveillance footage from his facial recognition search and I watched you for 3 hours straight, learning everything I could. That's creepy, Maya whispered, but there was no heat in it. I know. Ethan's smile was crooked. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry for wanting to know you. For wanting to protect you. For wanting... Mr. Bennet. Riley appeared in the doorway, her expression grim. We have a problem. Ethan's hand dropped from Maya's face. What kind of problem? The kind where Ouroboros just released a statement to the press claiming Maya Brooks is a corporate spy who stole proprietary research from their labs. The world tilted. What? Maya grabbed the counter. I've never even heard of Ouroboros until 20 minutes ago. Riley handed Ethan a tablet. His face darkened as he read. They're saying you infiltrated Bennett Industries through my father. that you gained his trust to access confidential files. They're claiming you're the daughter of the scientist who originally stole their research 15 years ago. That's insane. Maya's voice rose. My parents worked for Bennett Industries. Mr. Bennett just said. They're flipping the narrative, Liam said, appearing behind Riley. His face was ashen, making Maya look like the criminal, so if anything happens to her, it looks justified. Jesus Christ, they're getting ahead of the story. Which means they're planning something, Mr. Bennett said grimly, joining them in the kit. Riley. Something public. Something they need cover for. Maya's mind reeled. This morning I was pouring coffee. Now I'm an international corporate spy. It gets worse, Riley said. They've filed for an emergency injunction preventing you from accessing or discussing anything related to your parents' patent. And they've contacted the police, claiming you're dangerous. The police? Maya's voice cracked. I've never even gotten a parking ticket. Ethan pulled out his phone, already dialing. I'm calling our legal team. We'll get ahead of this. No. Mr. Bennett's voice cut through the panic. That's what they want. They want us scrambling, defending, looking guilty. Instead, we go on the offensive. How? Maya asked. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I'm nobody. You're not nobody, Liam said fiercely, crossing to her. You're Dr. Brent and Dr. Teresa Brooks' daughter. You're the rightful heir to a patent worth billions. And you're my sister. His hands gripped her shoulders, and Maya saw tears in his eyes. I lost you once because I was too young and powerless to fight for you, he said, voice rough. I'm not that kid anymore. I have money, resources, and 15 years of rage. Let me use it. Let me fight for you. The emotion in his voice broke something in Maya's chest. I don't know how to let people help me. Then learn. Liam pulled her into a hug, and Maya's carefully constructed walls crumbled. She grabbed onto her brother, and let herself cry for the first time since she was 10 years old. I've got you, Mimi, he whispered, using her childhood nickname. I promise. I've got you. Over Liam's shoulder, Maya saw Ethan watching them. The tenderness in his expression made her heart ache. This was too much. Too fast. Too dangerous. But God, she didn't want to run anymore. Hey, real talk, who else is crying right now? Drop a heart in the comments if that sibling reunion got you. And are we trusting this Ouroboros accusation or nah? Something feels off. 3 hours later, Maya stood in the art studio, staring at a blank canvas. Liam was in the office, coordinating with his tech team. Mr. Bennett was napping. The morning's excitement had exhausted him. Riley and her security team monitored the building's perimeter. And Ethan had followed Maya to the studio. You don't have to babysit me, she said without turning around. I'm not. He moved to stand beside her. I'm watching a beautiful woman contemplate art. There's a difference. I haven't painted in years. Why not? Maya touched the canvas, feeling the texture under her fingers. When I was in foster care, I had this art teacher. Mrs. Riley. She said I had talent, that I could maybe get a scholarship to art school. What happened? I aged out of the system at 18. Had to choose between college and rent. Rent won. She smiled bitterly. Turns out talent doesn't matter much when you're just trying to survive. Ethan was quiet for a moment. Then, paint something now. I don't know if I remember how. Yes, you do. His hand covered hers on the canvas. Muscle memory. It's still in there. You just have to trust it. Maya looked at their joined hands. Like I'm supposed to trust you? Like I'm hoping you will. Ethan turned her to face him. I know I came on strong earlier. I know this whole situation is insane. But Maya, I meant what I said. Patent or no patent, danger or no danger, I want to know you. The real you. Not the survivor version you show the world. What if there is no other version? Maya challenged. What if survival is all I know? Then I'll wait while you remember the rest. His hand cupped her face again, and this time Maya didn't pull away. However long it takes. Why? The question came out broken. Why do you care so much? Ethan's smile was soft. Because when my father showed me your photo, he said you reminded him of my mother. Kind heart, fierce spirit, too stubborn to ask for help. I told him he was being sentimental. But then I saw you. Really saw you. And I realized he was right. I'm nothing like. You're exactly like her, Ethan interrupted gently. She was a social worker. Spent her whole life helping people who couldn't help themselves. Died in a car accident on her way to remove kids from an abusive home. His voice roughened. She always saw the best in people, even when they didn't see it in themselves. Ethan. My father has been lost since she died, he continued. Going through the motions. Building the company but not really living. Until he met you. Suddenly he was excited to get up in the morning. He had stories to tell. He was happy. Tears pricked Maya's eyes. I didn't know. Because you weren't trying to get anything from him. You just cared. No agenda. No expectations. Just genuine human kindness. Do you have any idea how rare that is in my world? Your world has people trying to kill me, Maya pointed out. Fair. Ethan's thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped. But it also has me. And I promise you, Maya Brooks, I'm really good at protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. His eyes held hers, intense and unwavering. But I'm a patient man. The air between them crackled. Maya's pulse raced. She should step back. Should maintain distance. Should remember that billionaires didn't fall for broke waitresses, that this was adrenaline and proximity and… Ethan's phone rang. He cursed, pulling it out. What? His expression changed, going hard and cold. When? How many? Maya's stomach dropped. What's wrong? Ethan covered the phone. Riley. There's been another development. He listened then, understood. Increased security. No one gets in without triple verification. He hung up, jotted. They found Frank, he said quietly. Maya's heart stopped. What? Is he? He's alive. But they ransacked the diner. Trashed the whole place. Left a message. What message? Ethan showed her his phone. A photo of the diner's wall, spray-painted in red. 24 hours. Surrender the girl and the patent or everyone you love dies. Below it, that same symbol. The Ouroboros. The snake eating its tail. Maya couldn't breathe. Frank. Oh God, Frank. Is safe, Ethan assured her. Riley's team has him in protective custody. But Maya. They're escalating. Liam appeared in the doorway, his face grim. This isn't just about the patent anymore. This is personal. Mr. Bennett was behind him, looking older than his years. They want to scare her into surrendering. Into giving up her legal claim. Well, it's working, Maya said, her voice shaking. I'm terrified. And I don't want anyone else getting hurt because of me. So what do we do? Liam demanded. Roll over? Let them win. No. Ethan's arm slid around Maya's waist, anchoring her. We do what they don't expect. Which is? Maya asked. His smile was sharp. Dangerous. We fight back. Fighting back requires leverage, Mr. Bennett said, settling into a chair in the penthouse's main room. And leverage requires information. Liam, what do we actually know about Ouroboros? Liam pulled up files on the room's massive monitor. Founded 20 years ago by Dr. Vincent Harlow. Started as a small pharmaceutical research firm, grew exponentially after a series of lucky, he air-quoted, acquisitions. They specialize in regenerative medicine. Sound familiar? Maya's blood ran cold. They're in the same field as my parents. Not just the same field. Liam clicked through documents. They've released 3 major patents in the last 15 years. All in tissue regeneration. All suspiciously similar to the research your parents were doing. So they've been stealing from Bennett Industries this whole time? Ethan's voice was deadly quiet. That's what I thought, Liam said. Until I dug deeper. And found this. He pulled up a document, old, scanned from paper records. Maya leaned closer, squinting at the faded text. Is that, she started. A Bennett Industries employment record from 23 years ago, Liam confirmed. For Dr. Vincent Harlow. The room went silent. Harlow worked for us? Ethan looked at his father. Did you know about this? Mr. Bennett's expression was troubled. I knew Vincent. Brilliant researcher. Ambitious. He left Bennett Industries under complicated circumstances. What kind of circumstances? Maya demanded. The kind where we caught him stealing proprietary research and selling it to competitors, Mr. Bennett said heavily. Your father is the one who discovered it, Maya. Dr. Brent Brooks reported Harlow to me personally. We fired him, blacklisted him from the industry. I thought that was the end of it. But it wasn't, Liam said grimly. 3 months after getting fired, Harlow founded Ouroboros. And 6 months after that, my parents started working on the regeneration project. Maya finished, pieces clicking together. Oh God. Harlow wanted revenge. Not just revenge. Ethan pulled up another file. Control. If he could steal their research and patent it first, he'd own the entire field. Worth billions. And your parents would have nothing. Except they filed the patent first, Maya said. 3 weeks before the fire. Which meant Harlow had lost, Liam added. Unless the patent holders died and the patent became contested, Mr. Bennett finished. I'm beginning to see his strategy. Maya's hands shook. So he killed them. Burned down our house, separated me and Liam, and then what? Just waited? Not quite. Liam's fingers flew across his keyboard. Look at this. In the 15 years since your parents died, Ouroboros has filed 17 patents. 12 of them are based on research that originated at Bennett Industries. 17? Ethan's jaw clenched. How is that possible? Because someone's been feeding him information, Riley said from her position by the window. Someone inside Bennett Industries. The implication hung in the air like poison. A mole, Maya whispered. Has to be. Liam pulled up another screen, this one showing financial transactions. I've been tracking unusual money transfers. Large sums moving through shell corporations. And 3 days ago, right after I started my search for Maya, he highlighted a transaction. $2 million moved from an Ouroboros subsidiary to an account registered to. He paused, his face going pale. Oh shit. What? Ethan moved closer. Liam, what is it? The account. Liam's voice was hollow. It's registered to someone at Bennett Industries. Someone in upper management. Maya's heart pounded. Who? Liam looked at Mr. Bennett, his expression stricken. Richard Weaver. Your seal? No. Mr. Bennett stood abruptly. Richard has been with me for 30 years. He's my right hand. He wouldn't. Dad. Ethan's voice was gentle but firm. 30 years is a long time to build trust. Long enough to be above suspicion. Richard was here the night Maya's parents filed the patent, Mr. Bennett said, but his voice wavered. He was working late, helping with the paperwork. He stopped, face draining of color. Oh God, he breathed. He knew. Richard knew about the patent filing before anyone outside the research team. I told him myself. And 3 weeks later, the house burned, Maya said numbly. The puzzle pieces were falling into place, creating a picture of betrayal so vast it made her dizzy. A trusted employee. 15 years of deception. Her parents, murdered by someone they'd probably considered a colleague. A friend. I'm going to kill him, Ethan said quietly. I'm going to actually kill him. Get in line, Liam snarled. Wait. Riley was on her phone, her expression darkening. We have a bigger problem. I just got word from building security. Richard Weaver was here. 20 minutes ago. The temperature in the room dropped. What? Mr. Bennett's voice cracked. That's impossible. This location is classified. Only family and essential security know. I'm family. Everyone spun toward the elevator. Richard Weaver stepped out, flanked by 2 security guards Maya didn't recognize. He was in his 60s, silver-haired and distinguished, looking every inch the respectable corporate executive. Except for the gun in his hand. Hello, Nathaniel, he said pleasantly. Maya. So good to finally meet you properly. You look just like your mother. Riley's hand went to her weapon, but Weaver's guards were faster. I wouldn't, Weaver said. My men have very itchy trigger fingers. Richard. Mr. Bennet's voice shook with rage. How could you? How could I? Weaver laughed. How could I watch you build an empire while paying me a fraction of what I was worth? How could I watch Brent and Teresa Brooks stumble onto a discovery that should have been mine? I was running that lab for years before they showed up. So you had them killed, Maya said, her voice surprisingly steady. You murdered my parents over professional jealousy? I murdered them, Weaver corrected, because Vincent offered me $50 million and a stake in Ouroboros to eliminate the competition. And it would have worked perfectly if your brother hadn't grown up to be a tech genius with an obsession. He smiled at Liam. Really impressive facial recognition software, by the way. Shame you have to die before you can patent it. Liam stepped in front of Maya. You're not touching her. How touching? The protective big brother. Weaver's expression hardened. I'm not here to hurt her. I'm here to make a deal. Maya signs over her rights to the patent, and everyone walks away alive. And if I refuse? Maya demanded. Then I kill your brother. Then Ethan. Then dear old Nathaniel. And I make you watch before I kill you too. He checked his watch. You have 60 seconds to decide. Maya's mind raced. They were trapped. Gunt. Even if Riley drew her weapon, people would die. But she'd spent 15 years surviving. 15 years learning to spot the angles, find the exits, read people. And Richard Weaver was sweating. You're scared, she said suddenly. That's why you're here personally instead of sending more goons. Ouroboros is cutting ties, aren't they? You failed to keep me and Liam separated, failed to stop the investigation, and now you're exposed. Harlow's leaving you to take the fall. Weaver's eye twitched. Maya had hit a nerve. So this isn't Ouroboros's play, she continued, voice growing stronger. This is yours. One last desperate attempt to get the patent so you have something to bargain with. Something to keep Harlow from throwing you under the bus. Shut up, Weaver snapped. Which means you're alone, Ethan said, catching on. These guards, they're not Ouroboros's men. They're private hire. Probably don't even know what they're protecting. One of the guards shifted uncomfortably. And if anything happens to us here, Mr. Bennet added, his composure returning, you have no corporate protection. No legal team. No billions of dollars to hide behind. Just you. A murderer. Alone. I said shut up. Weaver's gun swung wildly. And Riley moved. She was impossibly fast, her weapon drawn and firing in one fluid motion. One guard went down. The other dove for cover. Weaver stumbled backward, firing blindly. Ethan tackled Maya to the floor, his body covering hers as bullets shattered glass and tore through furniture. Liam had overturned a table, using it as a shield. Mr. Bennet was down but moving. Riley had pulled him behind the bar. Stay down, Ethan breathed in Maya's ear, his weight pressing her into the marble. More gunshots. Riley's voice, barking orders. The second guard went down. And then silence. Maya's ears rang. Ethan's heart hammered against her back. Clear. Riley called. Ethan helped Maya up carefully. Her knees wobbled, but his arm around her waist kept her steady. Weaver was on the ground, bleeding from a shoulder wound. Riley had her knee on his back, zip-tying his hands. Call the police, she said calmly. And an ambulance. We want him alive. Mr. Bennet emerged from behind the bar, shaken but unharmed. Is everyone? We're okay, Liam confirmed, though his hands were shaking. Jesus. That was too close, Ethan finished, pulling Maya tighter against him. She was trembling now, adrenaline crashing through her system. 15 years of surviving on her own, and she'd nearly died in a billionaire's penthouse. I need air, she gasped. I can't, I need. Ethan steered her toward the balcony, away from the blood and the broken glass and the man who'd murdered her parents. Outside, the Chicago wind was cold and clean. Maya gulped it down, trying to steady herself. Breathe, Ethan murmured, his hands rubbing circles on her back. Just breathe. You're safe. Safe. Maya laughed hysterically. I was almost killed. In one day, I've been shot at twice, found out my parents were murdered, discovered I'm worth billions, and met a brother I thought was dead. How is any of this safe? Because you're not alone anymore, Ethan said fiercely. He turned her to face him, his hands framing her face. Do you understand? You survived 15 years by yourself, but you don't have to anymore. Liam's here. We've got you. Why? The question tore out of her. Why do you care so much? You don't even know me. Then let me tell you what I know. Ethan's thumbs brushed away tears she didn't realize she'd shed. I know you're brave. I know you're kind even when the world hasn't been kind to you. I know you make my father laugh for the first time since my mother died. I know that when you're scared, you lift your chin and face it anyway. I know that you're the strongest person I've ever met, and I'm terrified of losing you. Ethan. I'm falling in love with you, he said simply. I know it's fast. I know it's insane. I don't care. I'm falling in love with you, Maya Brooks, and I need you to know that before anything else happens. Before someone else tries to hurt you. I need you to know that you matter. To me. You matter so damn much. Maya couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. This man, this beautiful, impossible man, was looking at her like she was precious. Like she was worth protecting. Worth loving. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. How to let someone care. Then we'll figure it out together. Ethan's forehead touched hers. Together, Maya. That's all I'm asking. Let me stand beside you. Let me fight for you. Let me... Kiss me, Maya breathed. Ethan went still. What? I've spent 15 years being careful. Being safe. Being alone. Her hands fisted in his shirt. And I almost died today. Twice. So kiss me. Please. I need to feel something other than fear. Ethan's eyes searched hers, looking for certainty. Maya pulled him closer. And he kissed her. Gentle at first, almost reverent. His lips soft against hers, asking permission, giving her space to pull away. But Maya didn't want space. Didn't want gentle. She kissed him back fiercely, desperately, pouring 15 years of loneliness and fear and hope into the connection. Ethan made a sound low in his throat and deepened the kiss, one hand tangling in her hair, the other pulling her flush against him. The world fell away. The danger, the fear, the impossible situation, none of it mattered. Only this. Only him. Only the feeling of being wanted, being chosen, being worth something to someone. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ethan's smile was devastating. Wow, he breathed. Yeah, Maya agreed shakily. Behind them, through the glass, she could hear sirens. Police. Probably the FBI. Her life was about to become even more complicated. But Ethan's arms were around her, solid and real. And for the first time in 15 years, Maya Brooks wasn't facing the world alone. Together. Ethan asked softly. Maya looked up at this man who'd somehow become her anchor in less than a day. Together, she agreed. What they didn't know was that Richard Weaver wasn't the only traitor. And the real mastermind was just getting started. The FBI arrived within 30 minutes. Special Agent Victoria Cross was tall, sharp-eyed, and thoroughly unimpressed by billionaires. She listened to their story with a neutral expression, occasionally making notes, while her team photographed the crime scene and hauled Richard Weaver away. So let me get this straight, she said, looking between Maya, Ethan, Liam, and Mr. Bennett. You're claiming a Fortune 500 company murdered 2 research scientists 15 years ago, faked death records, separated minor children, and has been systematically stealing patents ever since? Yes, Liam said firmly. And your evidence is? Financial records showing transfers from Ouroboros to Weaver. Liam pulled up his tablet. Employment records proving Harlow worked for Bennett Industries. Surveillance footage of today's attack. Obtained how? Agent Cross interrupted. Liam paused. Some of it may not be technically legal. So inadmissible. Cross sighed. Look, I believe something happened to your parents, Ms. Brooks. And we'll definitely prosecute Weaver for what happened here today. But building a case against an entire corporation, especially one with Ouroboros' legal resources? That takes time. Months. Maybe years. We don't have years, Maya said desperately. They know we're onto them. They'll destroy evidence, disappear witnesses. Which is why I'm recommending witness protection, Cross said. For all of you. New identities, relocation, the works. The words hit like a bomb. Absolutely not, Mr. Bennett said immediately. I'm not abandoning my company. With respect, sir, your CEO just tried to kill you. You need protection. I have protection. Mr. Bennett gestured at Riley. Private security isn't enough against an organization like Ouroboros, Cross interrupted. Ms. Brooks is the primary target. As long as she's with you, you're all in danger. Maya's stomach dropped. What are you saying? Cross's expression softened slightly. I'm saying the safest thing is to separate you. Different locations, different identities. At least until we can neutralize the threat. No. Ethan's hand found Maya's. Absolutely not. We just found her. Which is exactly why they're escalating, Cross said bluntly. Ms. Brooks, you're the key to everything. The patent inheritance, the potential investigation, you're the loose end they need to tie up. And as long as you're with your brother, with the Bennetts, you're predictable. You're vulnerable. So what, I just disappear again? Maya's voice rose. Spend another 15 years alone, hiding, wondering if my family is alive? It's temporary. That's what they told me last time. Maya pulled away from Ethan, her chest tight. When I went into foster care, they said it was temporary. They said they'd find my family. They lied. For 15 years, they lied. Maya, Liam reached for her. No. She backed away. I can't do this. I can't be alone again. I can't. Her back hit the wall. The room swam. 15 years of trauma, of abandonment, of survival, it was all crashing down. I need air, she gasped. I need. She ran for the bathroom, slamming the door behind her. Her hands shook as she gripped the sink, staring at her reflection. The birthmark on her neck seemed to mock her. The thing that had identified her, that had brought her brother back. It was also the thing that made her a target. A knock. Maya? Ethan's voice. Let me in. Go away. Not happening. Ethan, please. The door opened. Of course he had a key. It was his penthouse. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Talk to me. There's nothing to say. Maya's voice was hollow. Agent Cross is right. As long as I'm here, you're all in danger. I should just. Don't. Ethan moved closer. Don't you dare say you should leave. Why not? It's the truth. Without me, Ouroboros has no reason to target you. The patent dispute goes away. Your father's company is safe. Liam can. Stop. Ethan gripped her shoulders, forcing her to look at him. Do you think any of us care about the company more than we care about you? You should, Maya whispered. You barely know me. I know enough. His thumbs stroked her arms gently. I know you're terrified right now. I know you're thinking about running because that's what you've always done, survive by staying alone, staying unattached. But Maya, you don't have to do that anymore. Yes, I do. Tears spilled over. Everyone I love dies or disappears. My parents, my brother, I thought I lost him for 15 years. And now I have him back, I have you, I have Mr. Bennett, and it's all going to be ripped away again because I'm the liability. I'm the one putting everyone at risk. You're not a liability, Ethan said fiercely. You're the woman I'm falling in love with. And I'm not letting anyone take you away. Not Ouroboros, not the FBI, not fate. No one. You can't promise that. Watch me. He kissed her then, desperate and claiming, like he could keep her safe through sheer force of will. Maya kissed him back just as desperately, memorizing the taste of him, the feel of his hands in her hair. Because Agent Cross was right. As long as they were together, they were all targets. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Ethan's phone buzzed. He checked it, and his expression went ice cold. What? Maya asked. Riley. His voice was flat. There's been an incident. They rushed back to the main room. Riley was on her tablet, her face grim. Liam stood frozen, staring at the screen. Mr. Bennett had gone pale. What happened? Ethan demanded. Riley turned the tablet to show them. A news broadcast, breaking news banners screaming across the bottom. Explosion at the Ouroboros headquarters in downtown Chicago. Early reports indicate at least 15 casualties. The FBI has labeled it a potential terrorist attack. Maya's blood turned to ice. What? It gets worse, Liam said hollowly. He pulled up another screen. 10 minutes before the explosion, security footage shows someone entering the building. Someone wearing a Bennett Industries jacket. Someone who looks a lot like... He turned the screen. Maya saw herself on the footage. Or someone who looked exactly like her, right down to the birthmark on her neck. That's not me, she breathed. I've been here the whole time. We know, Agent Cross said, appearing from where she'd been coordinating with her team. But the public doesn't. And Ouroboros is already spinning this as a revenge attack. They're claiming you're a domestic terrorist who bombed their headquarters to destroy evidence of your own parents' corporate espionage. The room spun. That's insane. It's brilliant, Mr. Bennett said bitterly. Harlow just solved all his problems. He destroys his own records, eliminates anyone who knew about his connection to Weaver, and frames Maya as a terrorist. Public opinion will crucify her. No jury would believe our side now. Can't you prove I was here? Maya looked at Riley desperately. Security footage, timestamps. Which will look doctored, Cross said. The Bennetts have unlimited resources. Of course they could fake an alibi for you. So what do I do? Maya's voice cracked. Cross's expression was sympathetic but firm. You go into witness protection. Tonight. Right now. It's the only way to keep you safe and give us time to build a real case. No. Ethan stepped between them. You're not taking her. Mr. Bennett, I understand your feelings, but... You don't understand anything. Ethan's voice was dangerous. Maya has spent 15 years being shuffled through systems, being failed by people who were supposed to protect her. I'm not letting it happen again. This isn't your choice, Cross said firmly. Ms. Brooks, I'm formally recommending. I'll go. Everyone turned to Maya. What? Liam stepped forward. Maya, no. I'll go, she repeated, her voice stronger now. Agent Cross is right. As long as I'm here, you're all in danger. And now I'm wanted for terrorism? I won't put you through that. Maya, please, Ethan reached for her. She stepped back, even though it killed her. I need to think. I need time away from all of this. And you, she looked at Ethan, memorizing his face, you need to protect your father. Your company. Everything you've built. I don't care about any of that without you, Ethan said desperately. You will. Maya's voice broke. When the media tears me apart, when my face is on every news channel as a terrorist, when being associated with me destroys everything you've worked for, you'll care. And I don't want to be there to see it happen. That's not fair, Liam said, his eyes wet. I just got you back. I know. Maya went to her brother, hugging him tightly. But this is what's best. For everyone. She was lying. Nothing about this was best. But it was necessary. Agent Cross nodded approvingly. We'll move you tonight. 1 bag, essential items only. You'll have a new identity by morning. Maya pulled away from Liam, avoiding Ethan's devastated expression. How long? Until we neutralize the threat, Cross said. Could be weeks. Could be months. Could be forever, Maya thought. She looked at the people who'd become her family in less than 24 hours. Mr. Bennett, who'd watched over her for 2 years. Liam, the brother she'd mourned and found. And Ethan, Ethan, who looked at her like his world was ending. I'm sorry, she whispered. And before any of them could stop her, before she could lose her nerve, she walked to the bedroom to pack. Behind her, she heard Ethan's broken voice. Dad, do something. But there was nothing to do. Ouroboros had won. How can they fight an enemy powerful enough to blow up their own building just to frame Maya? And can love survive when the entire world thinks you're a monster? I'm not crying, you're crying. Comment if you think Maya is making a mistake. Should she run or should she fight? And how is Ethan going to get her back? Because he is getting her back, right? Maya sat in the FBI safe house, staring at a wall. It had been 3 days. 3 days in a generic apartment with beige walls and no personality. 3 days with 2 agents rotating shifts outside her door. 3 days of watching herself on the news, labeled a terrorist, a murderer, a monster. 3 days without Ethan. Agent Cross had confiscated her phone. No contact with anyone from her previous life. Standard witness protection protocol. Maya understood the reasoning. It didn't make the silence any less suffocating. She'd spent 15 years alone. She should be used to this. But that was before she'd known what it felt like to have a family. Before Liam's laugh, Mr. Bennet's gentle wisdom, Ethan's touch. Before she'd understood what she'd been missing all those years. Now the loneliness was unbearable. A knock on the door. Agent Cross entered, her expression unreadable. "How are you holding up?" she asked. Maya didn't bother lying. "Terribly." Cross sat down across from her. "I have news. We've been investigating Ouroboros's explosion. And something doesn't add up." Maya's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" "The casualties." Cross pulled out her tablet. Ouroboros reported 15 deaths. But we've only been able to confirm 5 bodies. And all of them were low-level employees, janitors, security guards. No one from upper management. "They evacuated their own people," Maya breathed. "Before the explosion." "That's what it looks like." "Which means this wasn't an attack, it was a controlled demolition. They destroyed evidence and used your face to justify it." "Can you prove that?" Cross hesitated. "Not yet. But your brother is working on something. He's been sending me encrypted files, phone records, financial transactions, things his tech team has been pulling from Ouroboros's servers." "Liam's hacking them?" Despite everything, Maya felt a spark of pride. "I didn't hear that," Cross said with the ghost of a smile. "But hypothetically, someone very skilled has been systematically dismantling Ouroboros's digital infrastructure. And they've found something interesting." She turned the tablet to show Maya a document. "Dr. Vincent Harlow has been moving money. Lots of it. To offshore accounts. In the last 72 hours he's liquidated almost $1 billion. He's running," Maya said. "That's our assessment. Which means he knows the walls are closing in. And when cornered, desperate men make mistakes." Cross leaned forward. "Ms. Brooks, I need to ask you something. And I need complete honesty." "Okay. Do you trust Ethan Bennett?" The question caught Maya off guard. "Why?" "Because he's been making a lot of noise. Calling in favors, threatening lawsuits, generally making my life difficult." Cross's expression softened. "That man has barely slept since you left. He's been coordinating with your brother, funding a private investigation, and according to my sources, he's planning something." Maya's heart clenched. "What kind of something?" "The kind that might be brilliant or might get him killed." Cross stood. "I'm not supposed to tell you this. But he's tracked Harlow to a private airfield outside the city. He's planning to confront him. Tonight." "What?" Maya shot to her feet. "That's insane. Harlow will kill him." "Probably," Cross agreed. "Unless he has backup. The kind of backup that includes the FBI and the one person who can positively identify Harlow's connection to your parents' murder. Witness protection means keeping you alive until trial. But there won't be a trial if Harlow gets on that plane." Cross's jaw set. "This is off the books. My career could end for this. But I saw the crime scene photos from your parents' house, Ms. Brooks. I saw the fire investigation report that was buried. I saw what was done to your family." Her eyes blazed with righteous anger. "And I'll be damned if I let the man responsible fly off to a country with no extradition treaty." Hope, dangerous and desperate, bloomed in Maya's chest. "When do we leave?" She looked at Maya meaningfully. "You want me to go?" Maya asked shocked. "I thought witness protection meant." 2 hours later, Maya sat in an unmarked FBI van, watching the private airfield through binoculars. Ethan was there. She could see him standing near a black SUV, hands in his pockets, looking every inch the casual billionaire. But Maya could read the tension in his shoulders, the way his eyes constantly scanned the area. He was terrified. And he was doing this for her. There. Agent Cross pointed. That's Harlow. A silver-haired man in an expensive suit emerged from a sedan. Even from a distance, Maya could see his arrogance, the way he moved like someone who'd never faced consequences. The man who'd ordered her parents killed. Rage, white-hot and overwhelming, flooded through her. Easy, Cross murmured. We do this by the book. Ethan draws him out, gets him talking. We record everything. Once we have a confession, we move in. And if he doesn't confess? Then we arrest him anyway and hope your brother's digital evidence holds up in court. Cross checked her weapon. Either way, Harlow doesn't get on that plane. Through the binoculars, Maya watched Ethan approach Harlow. Even without audio, she could read his body language. Confident, controlled, dangerous. God, she'd missed him. Audio's live, one of the agents said, flipping a switch. Ethan's voice filled the van. Appreciate you meeting me, Dr. Harlow. Mr. Bennett. Harlow's voice was smooth, cultured. I'm surprised you'd show your face. Your girlfriend is wanted for terrorism, and you're harboring her? That's not a good look for Bennett Industries. Maya didn't bomb your building, Ethan said calmly. You did. Careful. That sounds like slander. Is it slander if it's true? Ethan pulled out his phone. I have footage. Real footage, not the deepfake you created. Showing your executives evacuating 30 minutes before the explosion. Showing you, personally, in the security office, overriding the alarm systems. Harlow's expression didn't change, but Maya saw his hand move toward his jacket. He's armed, Cross said sharply. All units, be ready. You're bluffing, Harlow said. Am I? Ethan's smile was cold. You killed Brent and Teresa Brooks 15 years ago. You paid Richard Weaver to arrange it. You separated their children and spent 15 years stealing their research. And when Liam got close to finding his sister, when your neat little conspiracy started unraveling, you panicked. You have no proof. I have Weaver's testimony. He's been very talkative since his lawyer explained he's facing multiple life sentences. Ethan stepped closer. He gave you up, Harlow. Detailed everything. The payments, the planning, the fire. All of it. Maya watched Harlow's face twist with rage. Richard always was weak, he spat. But it doesn't matter. Without the Brooks girl, you have nothing. No heir to contest the patents. No witness to the original theft. She's disappeared into witness protection, and even if you find her, he smiled coldly, no jury will believe a terrorist. I'm not in witness protection. Harlow spun as Maya stepped out of the van. Every instinct screamed at her to stay hidden, stay safe. But she was done running. Done hiding. Done letting powerful men decide her fate. Maya, what are you? Cross started, but Maya was already walking toward Harlow. Ethan's face flooded with relief and terror. Maya, get back. No. She kept moving, kept her eyes locked on Harlow. I spent 15 years wondering what kind of monster kills someone's parents. Burns down their house. Rips apart a family. She stopped a few feet from him. Close enough to see the calculation in his eyes, the complete lack of remorse. You're just a sad, bitter man, she said. My father was smarter than you. Better than you. And you couldn't handle it. So you took everything from us. Your father was a fool, Harlow snarled. That research should have been mine. Should have been. Maya's voice rose. It wasn't yours. It was theirs. They worked for it, discovered it, earned it. And you killed them for it. You murdered them and tried to murder their legacy. They were obstacles. They were people. Maya's voice cracked. They were my parents. And you took them from me. You took my brother from me. You took 15 years of my life. And I'd do it again, Harlow said coldly. They were in my way. Just like you're in my way now. His hand moved to his jacket. Everything happened at once. Ethan lunged forward, tackling Maya to the ground. A gunshot rang out. FBI agents swarmed from every direction, weapons drawn, shouting commands. Maya hit the asphalt hard, Ethan's weight pressing her down, his arms around her head protectively. More gunshots. Shouting. Chaos. And then silence. Suspect secured, someone yelled. Ethan pulled back, his hands frantically checking Maya for injuries. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Maya, talk to me. I'm fine, she gasped. I'm okay. Are you? He kissed her. Hard and desperate and filled with everything he couldn't say. Maya kissed him back just as fiercely, her hands fisting in his shirt, anchoring herself to this moment, to him. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Ethan pressed his forehead to hers. Don't ever do that again, he breathed. Don't ever put yourself in danger like that. You're one to talk, Maya shot back. What were you thinking, confronting him alone? I was thinking I'd do anything to keep you safe. To get you justice. To bring you home. His hands cupped her face. God, Maya. I've been losing my mind without you. 3 days, she whispered. 3 days too long. He kissed her again, softer this time. I love you. I know it's fast, I know it's crazy, but I love you and I'm not losing you again. Ethan. Say it back, he demanded. Please. Say you feel this too. Maya looked into his eyes. This man who'd protected her, fought for her, refused to give up on her. I love you, she said. I love you so much it terrifies me. His smile was blinding. But be terrified together with me. Agent Cross appeared above them. Touching. Really? But maybe get off the ground? We kind of have an arrest to process. Ethan helped Maya up. Across the tarmac, Harlow was in handcuffs, screaming about lawyers and rights. FBI agents were bagging his weapon, photographing the scene. And standing near the SUV, grinning like an idiot, was Liam. Told you she'd come, he called to Ethan. You told him? Maya looked at Cross accusingly. Your brother is very persuasive, Cross said dryly. And his hacking skills are impressive. Hypothetically speaking. Maya ran to Liam, throwing her arms around him. You're insane. Runs in the family, he said, hugging her tight. Also, you're welcome. The deepfake evidence? I found the servers Ouroboros used to create it. We can prove it was manufactured. You're brilliant. I know. He pulled back, grinning. Also, Dad's going to kill us. He wanted to come, but we made him stay at the penthouse. He's probably stress-eating all the good snacks. Then let's go home, Maya said. The word felt strange and perfect. Ethan's hand found hers. Together. Maya looked at her brother, at Ethan, at the FBI agents hauling away the man who'd destroyed her family. For 15 years, she'd survived alone. But she didn't have to anymore. Together, she agreed. The monster who killed Maya's parents is finally caught. But will the evidence hold up in court? And can Maya finally get the ending she deserves? Are we cheering? Drop a comment if you're ready to see Harlow go down. And that reunion kiss? Ethan and Maya are everything. Almost to the end now, don't go anywhere. The next 72 hours were a blur of FBI interviews, legal depositions, and media frenzy. Maya sat in a conference room at Bennett Industries, flanked by lawyers who cost more per hour than she used to make in a month. Across the table, federal prosecutors laid out their case against Dr. Vincent Harlow. His confession at the airfield is admissible, the lead prosecutor, Diana Reeves, explained. You were wearing a wire, he pulled a weapon, and he explicitly admitted to the murders. That alone is enough for charges. But Maya sensed there was more. But Harlow's legal team is claiming entrapment. They're arguing you provoked him, that he felt threatened, that his statements were made under duress. Reeves's expression was grim. With his resources, he could drag this out for years. And there's always a chance, small but real, that a jury might believe him. Unacceptable, Ethan said coldly. He sat beside Maya, his hand covering hers on the table. He hadn't let her out of his sight since the airfield. What do we need to make this airtight? Physical evidence linking Harlow to the original fire, Reeves said. Financial records proving he paid Weaver. Testimony from someone inside Ouroboros who can verify the conspiracy. We have the financial records, Liam said from his position near the window. He'd barely slept, surviving on coffee and determination. I pulled everything from Weaver's accounts. 15 years of payments from Ouroboros shell companies. Defense will claim those could be legitimate business transactions, Reeves countered. What about the fire investigation? Mr. Bennett asked. He looked older, worn down by the revelations of his COO's betrayal. The original reports were suspicious. Couldn't we? Already on it, Agent Cross said, entering the room with a box of files. I pulled every document related to the Brooks House fire. And you were right, there are inconsistencies. The arson investigator who signed off on the case? He retired 6 months later with a suspiciously large bank account. She spread photos across the table. The fire started in 3 places simultaneously. That's not accidental. And accelerant was found in patterns consistent with professional arson. But somehow, it was ruled an electrical fire. Maya stared at the crime scene photos of her childhood home. Charred walls. Destroyed rooms. The place where her parents had died. Ethan's thumb stroked her hand gently. You don't have to look. Yes, I do. Maya forced herself to study each image. They deserve that. They deserve. She stopped, leaning closer to one photo. Wait, what's that? Cross looked. What am I seeing? Maya pointed to a partially burned document in what had been her father's study. That logo. I recognize it. Liam crossed over, squinting at the image. Is that an Ouroboros letterhead? We need the original evidence, Reeves said immediately. If there's anything salvageable from that document. The fire evidence would be in storage, Cross said, already on her phone. I'll get a team there now. As Cross coordinated, Maya's mind raced. Something about the photo nagged at her. A memory, distant and fragmented, from the night of the fire. I was at a sleepover, she said slowly, at my friend Jessica's house. But before I left, I remember my dad was upset. He was on the phone with someone, arguing. Do you remember what he said? Reeves. Maya closed her eyes, reaching for the memory. She'd been 10 years old, excited about the sleepover, not really paying attention. But her father's raised voice had caught her attention. He said. Maya's eyes snapped open. He said, I don't care what Vincent offered you. The research is Bennett property and it stays that way. Tell him if he contacts you again, I'm going to the board. The room went silent. He was talking to Weaver, Liam breathed. Harlow tried to bribe Weaver to steal the research, and when Dad refused to let him, they killed them both, Maya finished. That same night. Before my father could report it. That's premeditation, Reeves said, her eyes gleaming. That's first-degree murder. Cross returned, her phone still to her ear. Evidence team is en route to storage. They'll? She paused, listening. Her expression changed. When? How many? She hung up, her face grim. We have a problem. The storage facility where the fire evidence was kept? It burned down. 2 hours ago. No, Maya whispered. This can't be a coincidence, Ethan snarled. Harlow's people are destroying evidence. Actually, Cross interrupted, Harlow's been in federal custody. He couldn't have ordered this. Which means... He has partners, Mr. Bennett said heavily. Other people at Ouroboros who are complicit, who have just as much to lose if he talks. Then we get him to talk, Liam said. Offer him a deal. Reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against his co-conspirators. He'll never take it, Maya said. Everyone looked at her. You didn't see his face at the airfield. He's arrogant. He thinks he's untouchable. He'd rather go to trial and gamble on an acquittal than admit defeat. Then we need something that breaks his confidence, Ethan said. Something he doesn't know we have. Something that proves. He stopped, his eyes widening. The patent. The original patent filing that Brent and Teresa submitted. Where is it? Mr. Bennett frowned. In our archives. Why? Because patent filings require detailed documentation of the research process. Lab notes, experimental results, everything. Ethan was already standing. If we can show that the patents Ouroboros filed in the last 15 years are based on research documented in the Brooks's original filing. We prove they stole it, Liam finished, catching on. We prove everything. The archives are in the subbasement, Mr. Bennett said. I'll have them pulled. No. Ethan's voice was sharp. If there's a mole, if someone else at Ouroboros is cleaning up loose ends, they'll know to target the archives. We go ourselves. Right now. 20 minutes later, they stood in the climate-controlled archives beneath Bennett Industries. Row after row of file boxes, decades of corporate records. The patent would be filed under Brooks, Mr. Bennett said, leading them down an aisle. Dated 15 years ago, March. It's gone, Liam said flatly. They turned. The section where the Brooks files should have been was empty. Not just the files, the entire shelf had been removed. No, Maya's voice shook. No, they can't have. They did. Mr. Bennett's face was ashen. Someone cleaned this out. Recently, by the look of it. Maya felt her last hope crumbling. Without evidence, without the patent, without anything physical to tie Harlow to the crime, he might actually walk free. 15 years of searching. 3 days of terror. Her parents' deaths unavenged. There has to be something, Ethan said desperately. Another copy, a backup. Dad kept copies of everything important at home, Liam said suddenly. In his office. He was paranoid about fires after a lab incident when I was little. He always said you couldn't trust a single storage location. Maya's heart leapt. You think? The house burned down, Liam said. But the detached garage didn't. Dad used it as a workshop. If he kept a home office there, it might have survived, Maya breathed. Cross was already moving. Where? Give me the address. It's condemned, Liam said. The property's been sitting vacant for 15 years. The city was supposed to tear it down but bureaucracy moves slowly, Cross finished. Let's go. Now. The house was worse than Maya remembered. Or maybe it just felt worse, seeing it as an adult. The main structure was indeed destroyed, just a foundation and some skeletal walls, overgrown with weeds. But the garage stood intact, its door rusted shut. I'll get it, Ethan said, grabbing a crowbar from Cross's trunk. He pried at the door until it shrieked open. Inside, darkness and dust and the musty smell of abandonment. Maya stepped in first. Her father's workbench was still there, covered in 15 years of grime. His tools, rusted but recognizable. And in the corner, a filing cabinet, she whispered. It was locked. Liam pulled out a multi-tool, working at the mechanism. After 30 seconds that felt like hours, it clicked open. Inside, files. Dozens of them. Research notes in her father's cramped handwriting. Lab reports. Experimental data. And a folder labeled, Patent Application, Backup Copy. Liam pulled it out with shaking hands. This is it. This is everything. Maya looked over his shoulder, seeing her parents' names on the documents. Seeing their work, their brilliance, their legacy preserved in fading ink. They really were geniuses, she said softly. They really were, Mr. Bennett agreed, his voice thick with emotion. And they trusted me to protect their work. I failed them. No, Maya turned to him. You didn't. You kept their research safe. You kept looking for the truth. And you took care of their daughter when she needed it most, even though you didn't know who she was. The old man's eyes welled with tears. Maya. She hugged him. This man who'd been a stranger 6 months ago, a kindly customer 3 days ago, and was now family. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. Cross was photographing every page of the patent application. This is gold. With this, we can prove Ouroboros's patents are derivative. We can show motive, opportunity, everything. Will it be enough? Maya asked. Combined with Weaver's testimony, the confession at the airfield, and the financial records? Cross smiled, really smiled. Harlow's done. And so is anyone else at Ouroboros who helped him. Relief flooded through Maya so intensely her knees wobbled. Ethan caught her, his arms wrapping around her waist. We did it, he murmured into her hair. It's over. Is it? Maya looked up at him. The trial could take months. The media is still calling me a terrorist. My life is about to get a lot better, Liam interrupted. He held up his phone, grinning. Because I just sent a very detailed press release to every major news outlet, complete with evidence of the deepfake used to frame you, documentation of Harlow's arrest, and a comprehensive breakdown of the conspiracy. You what? Maya gasped. I'm a tech billionaire, Mimi. I know how to control a narrative. His grin widened. By tomorrow morning, you won't be Maya Brooks the terrorist. You'll be Maya Brooks, the brave survivor who helped take down a corporate conspiracy. The daughter of murdered geniuses. The woman who got justice for her family. And the woman I'm going to marry, Ethan added. Everyone froze. Maya's heart stopped. What? Ethan turned her to face him fully, his hands gentle on her waist. I know this is fast. I know we've only known each other for 3 days. But I also know I've never been more sure of anything in my life. He dropped to one knee. Right there, in the dusty garage where her father had worked, where the evidence that saved them had been hidden for 15 years. I don't have a ring yet, Ethan said, looking up at her with those whiskey-colored eyes. I'll get you one, the biggest diamond you want, or no diamond if you'd prefer, or whatever makes you happy. But I couldn't wait another second to ask. Tears streamed down Maya's face. Maya Brooks, you are the strongest, bravest, most beautiful person I've ever met. You've survived things that would have broken anyone else. You've kept your kindness, your hope, your incredible heart despite a world that tried to take everything from you. And I want to spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel alone again. His voice shook slightly. Marry me. Not today, not tomorrow, whenever you're ready. But say you'll marry me. Say you'll let me love you for the rest of our lives. Maya couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Say yes, Liam urged, grinning through his own tears. Put the poor guy out of his misery. Yes, Maya whispered. Then louder, yes. Yes, of course yes. Ethan surged up, lifting her off her feet, spinning her around. She laughed and cried and kissed him, pouring 15 years of loneliness and 3 days of terror and a lifetime of hope into the connection. When he set her down, she was dizzy and breathless and happier than she'd ever imagined possible. I love you, she said. I love you so much. I love you too. Ethan kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. And I promise, I will never let you face anything alone again. You better not, Maya said, smiling through her tears. Because I'm kind of getting used to having people around. Mr. Bennett cleared his throat, drawing their attention. I hate to interrupt, but I believe we have some justice to serve. And then, his eyes twinkled, we have a wedding to plan. Agent Cross shook her head, amused. Billionaires. You people are insane. Runs in the family, Liam and Maya said simultaneously. They looked at each other and laughed, really laughed, the kind of sibling synchronicity that came from shared DNA and shared trauma and the beginning of shared joy. As they walked out of the garage, Maya took one last look at the ruins of her childhood home. Her parents had died here. Her old life had ended here. But her new life was just beginning. Oh my God, he proposed. Comment if you screamed. And can we talk about finding the evidence in the garage? Perfect. If you're not subscribed yet, do it now. You've come this far with Maya's story, don't miss the ending. 6 months later, Maya stood in front of the mirror, staring at a woman she barely recognized. The dress was ivory silk, simple and elegant, falling in soft waves to the floor. Her hair was swept up, revealing the crescent moon birthmark on her neck, no longer hidden, no longer a source of shame. Now it was a symbol of survival. Of family. Of finding her way home. You look beautiful, Liam said from the doorway. Maya turned to her brother, her eyes already welling with tears. I'm going to ruin my makeup. Good thing we hired the expensive kind. He crossed to her, looking impossibly handsome in his tuxedo. How are you feeling? Terrified. Overwhelmed. Maya laughed shakily. All of it. That's fair. It's not every day you marry a billionaire. Liam's expression softened. But more importantly, it's not every day you marry the person who sees exactly who you are and loves you anyway. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. You just weren't around to appreciate it. His smile dimmed slightly. I'm really glad you're here now, Mimi. Maya hugged him tightly. Me too. 6 months. So much had happened in 6 months. The trial had been swift once the evidence was presented. Harlow's legal team had tried every trick, but the combination of his recorded confession, Weaver's testimony, the patent documentation, and Liam's digital forensics had been overwhelming. The jury had deliberated for less than 4 hours before returning guilty verdicts on all counts: 2 counts of first-degree murder, conspiracy, corporate espionage, and a dozen other charges. Vincent Harlow would spend the rest of his life in prison. 3 other Ouroboros executives had been indicted as co-conspirators. The company itself was facing dissolution, its assets being liquidated to pay damages. And Maya had been publicly vindicated. The media that had called her a terrorist had pivoted hard, running story after story about the brave woman who'd helped expose a 15-year conspiracy. Her face had been on magazine covers. She'd been interviewed by major news outlets. She'd hated every second of the attention. But it had been necessary. The court of public opinion mattered, and Liam had been right. Controlling the narrative had protected her. Protected all of them. The patent had been formally transferred to Maya and Liam as the legal heirs of Dr. Brent and Dr. Teresa Brooks. The technology was currently being developed by Bennett Industries in partnership with Liam's tech company, with all profits designated for a foundation in their parents' names, funding scholarships for underprivileged students pursuing STEM degrees. Maya had insisted on that. The money didn't matter. The legacy did. 5 minutes, someone called from outside the room. Liam offered his arm. Ready? Maya took a deep breath. Ready. They walked through the hallway of the small restaurant, Frank's Diner, renovated and restored after the ransacking, now closed for a private event. The place where Maya had served coffee for years. Where Mr. Bennett had become her family. Where everything had changed. Where Ethan had insisted they get married. It's where I first heard about you, he'd said when he proposed. Properly proposed 2 months ago, with a ring this time. Where my father told me about the kind, beautiful waitress who made him feel less alone. It's where our story started, Maya. Let's make it official there. And she cried and said yes all over again. The ceremony was small. Just family and close friends. Agent Cross had come, surprisingly, having become something of a friend during the investigation. Riley and her security team. A few of Ethan's childhood friends. Some of Liam's tech colleagues. And Frank, of course, who was openly weeping in the front row. The diner had been transformed with flowers and candles, intimate and perfect. Maya saw it all through the doorway, her heart hammering. Then the music started. Liam walked her down the makeshift aisle between the tables. Past the counter where she'd poured coffee. Past the booth where Mr. Bennett had sat every morning. Past the spot where her life had irrevocably changed 6 months ago. And there was Ethan, standing near the window, backlit by the afternoon sun, looking at her like she was his entire world. Maya's breath caught. Even after 6 months, he still had that effect on her. Mr. Bennett stood beside his son, beaming with pride. He'd insisted on officiating, having gotten ordained online specifically for this occasion. I brought you two together, he'd said. I'm finishing the job. Maya reached Ethan, and Liam placed her hand in his with a gentle squeeze. Take care of her, he whispered to Ethan. With my life, Ethan promised. Then it was just the two of them, standing in the diner where a lonely waitress had once dreamed of being found. And here she was. Mr. Bennett's voice was warm as he began. We are gathered here today, in this most unusual but perfect venue, to witness the union of two people who prove that love can bloom even in the darkest circumstances. Maya barely heard the traditional words. She was too focused on Ethan's hands holding hers, on his eyes that hadn't left her face, on the slight tremor in his fingers that told her he was just as overwhelmed as she was. Maya, Mr. Bennett said gently, I believe you wrote your own vows? She had. She'd stayed up late 3 nights ago, trying to put everything she felt into words. Now, standing here, her carefully written speech seemed inadequate. But she tried. Ethan, she began, her voice shaking slightly. 6 months ago, I was alone. I'd been alone for 15 years. I'd learned to survive that way, not needing anyone, not letting anyone in. I thought that was strength. She squeezed his hands. But you taught me that real strength is letting people see you. Letting them help you. Letting them love you. Tears slipped down her cheeks. You saw me when I felt invisible. You fought for me when I'd given up fighting for myself. You made me believe I deserved good things. Deserved happiness. Deserved love. Her voice broke. And I love you. I love you for your kindness and your courage and the way you make your father laugh. I love you for the way you look at me like I'm precious. Like I matter. I spent 15 years thinking I didn't matter to anyone. You proved me wrong every single day. She took a shaky breath. I promise to be brave for you. To let you in even when it's scary. To build a life with you filled with laughter and art and family and everything I never thought I could have. You gave me back my brother, my family, my hope. Now I'm giving you all of me. For the rest of our lives. Ethan's jaw clenched, his own eyes wet. When Mr. Bennet nodded to him, it took a moment before he could speak. Maya, he finally said, his voice rough. I'm not good with words like you are. But I need you to know, meeting you changed everything. My father came home one day and told me about a waitress who made him smile. Who treated him like a person instead of a bank account. Who had the most beautiful smile he'd seen in years. Ethan's thumb traced her cheek. And I was intrigued. Then I saw your photo and I was captivated. Then I met you and I was lost. Completely, utterly lost. He smiled through his tears. You terrified me. The intensity of what I felt terrified me. I'd never believed in love at first sight until I saw you standing in that diner, looking at Liam like your world was ending and beginning at the same time. I wanted to be part of your new beginning, he continued. I wanted to protect you and fight for you and give you every single thing you'd been denied. I wanted to watch you paint and hear you laugh and wake up next to you every morning for the rest of my life. His hands tightened on hers. I promised to be worthy of you. To cherish the gift of your trust. To make you feel safe and seen and loved every single day. To build a family with you. The family you deserved all along. You make me better, Maya. You make me whole. And I'm going to spend the rest of our lives making sure you know how extraordinary you are. By now, there wasn't a dry eye in the diner. Mr. Bennet cleared his throat, his own voice thick. By the power vested in me by the internet and the state of Illinois, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Ethan, kiss your bride before we all dehydrate from crying. Laughter rippled through the guests. Ethan pulled Maya close, his hand cradling her face. Hello, Mrs. Bennet. Hello, Mr. Bennet, Maya whispered. And he kissed her. The diner erupted in applause and cheers. Liam whistled. Frank sobbed openly. Mr. Bennet beamed like he'd personally arranged the stars. When they broke apart, both breathless and grinning, Maya looked around at the faces of the people who'd become her family. 6 months ago, she'd had no one. Now she had everything. The reception was perfect chaos. Frank had insisted on catering, preparing all of Maya's favorite comfort foods. Liam gave a toast that had everyone laughing and crying. Mr. Bennet told embarrassing stories about Ethan's childhood. And Maya danced with her husband, in the middle of the diner while an old jukebox played Frank Sinatra. Happy, Ethan murmured against her hair. Deliriously, Maya said. Although I still can't believe we got married in a diner. Not just any diner. Our diner. He spun her gently. Where the lonely billionaire's son fell in love with a waitress who didn't know she was a hidden heiress. That sounds like a bad romance novel. Best romance novel ever written, Ethan corrected, kissing her nose. Later, as the sun set and the party wound down, Maya found herself standing at the counter. The same counter where she'd spilled coffee 6 months ago, where she'd first seen Liam, where her life had irrevocably changed. Frank joined her, wiping down the surface out of habit. Can't believe my favorite waitress just got married, he said gruffly. Can't believe my favorite boss let me turn his diner into a wedding venue, Maya countered. This place has always been about family. Frank's expression was tender. And kid, you finally got yours back. Maya hugged him tight. Thank you. For everything. For giving me a job when I had nothing. For protecting me. For being family when I didn't have any. You always had family, Frank said. You just didn't know it yet. As the evening ended and guests began to leave, Liam pulled Maya aside. "I have something for you," he said, handing her an envelope. "Liam, you already gave us a honeymoon to Italy. This is different. Open it." Maya opened the envelope. Inside was a deed. "But the house?" She looked up shocked. "Our parents' house?" "The property," Liam corrected. "I'm having the ruins cleared. And I thought, if you wanted, we could rebuild. Not the same house, but something new. A place where the Brooks family can gather. Where our kids can play together someday. Where we can remember Mom and Dad but also celebrate what we've become." Tears streamed down Maya's face. "Liam, you don't have to decide now," he said quickly. "I just wanted you to know, we have a place to go home to. Whenever you're ready." Maya grabbed her brother, holding him tight. "I'm ready. God, I'm so ready." Over his shoulder, she saw Ethan watching them with Mr. Bennet, both men smiling. Her family. All of them. "Hey," Liam said softly. "Mom and Dad would be so proud of you. Of who you've become. What you've survived." "Of us," Maya corrected. "They'd be proud of us." "Yeah," Liam agreed, his voice rough. "Yeah, they would." 1 year later, Maya stood in the art studio of her and Ethan's home, a stunning brownstone they'd bought together, close enough to the diner for regular visits, close enough to Mr. Bennet's penthouse for Sunday dinners. The canvas in front of her was nearly complete. A portrait of her parents, painted from the only photo that had survived, the one Liam had carried for 15 years. She'd finally felt ready to paint them. Behind her, she heard the door open. Ethan's arm slid around her waist, his chin resting on her shoulder. "It's beautiful," he murmured. "It's them," Maya said simply. "The way I want to remember them. Happy. Together. At peace." "Like us," Ethan said. "Like us," Maya agreed. Her phone buzzed. A text from Liam. "Foundation approved its 100th scholarship today. Mom and Dad's legacy living on." Maya smiled, typing back. "They'd love that." Another text, this one with a photo, the newly rebuilt house on their parents' property. Not a replacement for what was lost, but something new. Something hopeful. "Home," Liam had captioned it. "We should go see it this weekend," Maya said. "The 3 of us. You, me, and your dad." "4 of us," Ethan corrected, his hand moving to rest on her still flat stomach. Maya's breath caught. "You knew. I pay attention." His smile was tender. "And you've been crying at commercials for 3 days. And you turned down wine at dinner. Then, okay, detective." Maya laughed, turning in his arms. "I was going to tell you tonight." "Tell me now," Ethan said, his eyes bright with hope and joy and love. Maya took his hand, placed it over her heart, then her stomach. "We're going to have a baby," she whispered. "You're going to be a father." Ethan's face transformed. Wonder and disbelief and overwhelming happiness all at once. "We're really?" He kissed her, deep and slow and filled with promise. "I love you," he said against her lips. "I love you so much." "I love you too," Maya said. And for the first time in her life, saying those words didn't scare her. Because she wasn't alone. Wasn't abandoned. Wasn't lost. She was found. She was loved. She was home. Maya Brooks, no Maya Bennet, had survived 15 years of darkness. And now, surrounded by family and love and the promise of new life, she was finally, beautifully, completely free. She'd been the lonely waitress who'd helped an old man every day. Until his billionaire son walked in with her lost brother. And everything changed. Not just changed, bloomed. Into exactly the life she'd always deserved. "I'm crying. Are you crying?" Maya got her happy ending. She got her brother back, found love, started a family, and honored her parents' legacy. This is what justice looks like. This is what healing looks like. Drop a comment and tell me your favorite moment from this story. Was it the reunion? The proposal in the garage? The dinner wedding? The pregnancy reveal? I want to hear all your thoughts. And if you loved this journey with Maya, Ethan, and Liam, please subscribe for more stories like this. Stories about hope, justice, love, and second chances. Stories that remind us that no matter how dark things get, there's always a path to the light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reading. Thank you for believing in happy endings. Until next time, beautiful souls. Keep hoping. Keep loving. Keep believing that your story isn't over yet.